Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to build your own AI-powered workflow connected to Odoo using only open source tools and running everything locally. We'll use Oyama to run local large language models, N8N to orchestrate the workflow, and Odoo as a front end where the user triggers the action and receives the AI response. Let's say that you have a task in Odoo and you want the system to automatically generate a resume based on the name and description. The user fills in the basic fields, clicks a button, and in a few seconds, Odoo gets a rich description generated by AI without leaving the ERP and without using external services like OpenAI. The flow is simple. Odoo triggers a request, N8N talks to Oyama, Oyama generates a response and sends it to N8, and it goes back into Odoo. So let's do it. First of all, we will go to Oyama, and there we can see how to download and install it in our computer. We can do it even in our server, or we can choose any other option. However, in this example, what we did is just go there, simply copy this command, and inside the terminal, execute everything. Also, in this case, it is important to run and download a model because by default, Oyama doesn't have any model. So in this case, we will just go Oyama run gem3 1b. This is a small model and it's useful to do this example. If we have a better soft server or computer with GPU and so on, we could download and install better models. So now that we have it installed, we can proceed with the next step in our journey. So we have now the Oyama. Now we need to start with the N8N. To do it, we just download it in our computer and install it. We can use the option that fits better to us. In my case, I did it locally because I wanted to test new features, but you could use a Docker Compose, a Docker, or even use other services. The only important thing is that this service is allowed to see the Odoo service, and the Odoo service can see this service too, because we will communicate one to each other. For example, once Odoo starts the task, it will send it to the N8N, and N8N will do whatever we want, and at the end it will communicate to Odoo. This is done this way to make everything asynchronous. The third step would be to use the AI modules from OCA. They are already there for version 16, and this is the example that we will check. Here we have a small module that allows us to communicate with N8N or whatever other system that has a good API. So now that we have everything installed in our server, we can proceed with other things. The first thing would be to go to N8N and create a new service. Let's do it easily. Create workflow, and we will start with something really simple, and we will call it webhook. As you can see, it generates a URL to connect, and by default it uses the get method, but we need to change it to post to make it work with our system. By default, it defines a path. It's a random path. It's good. And we could set some authentication if we want to secure the system. In this case, as we are only doing a demo, we will not add the authentication, but it's up to you. And also we have the how it will respond. By default, it's immediately. So the idea is that the system receives the call automatically. It proceeds to to send back to the origin and say, okay, we're doing that, but we will do it once we have time, and they do the job, and at the end we will have a connection to the Odoo server. If we don't want to do that, we could use the respond to webhook, but it's not what we will try in this example. So now that we have everything here, it's important that we go to the webhook. We will copy it by clicking. We will save, setting a right name. And we will activate it. Why we activate it? Because we want to check the executions of it. So our next step would be to go to the Odoo interface, okay, and create a new bridge. So it will be something like make a resume. It's on threads. We request a record. It will be asynchronous. On the result, we'll post a message. It will be done on tasks. And it will require the title and the description. And that's the information that we will send to the system. And it will be sent in this way. And last, we set the URL here. In order to make it work, by default, the system will set a localhost, but we will not use that. So as I am using Docker for the Odoo server, it will not find the localhost, the right path. So I'm defining the IP from the system. Okay, so now we have it. So if we go to project and we create a new task, we make it really hard and interesting. Just let me find it. So this is the task that we have received from the customer, and it's actually quite serious and has a lot of information. Okay, so now that we have saved it, we have here a small icon where we can generate the AI. So we press on it and we say, okay, make a resume. The bridge has been executed, but as we have made it really simple, it will not work properly. But we did it on purpose, because this way we can check it. So now we should go back to the hook, and we will see here that it has been executed. Nothing happened that was expected. But the good thing is that now that we have an example of how it's done. Okay, now we can copy it, and we will use it to make the test. And this is really useful because this way we can test it locally without affecting the system and making it more easy to handle. So the first thing that we're going to do in this case would be to transform this description to something that AI is more comfortable. By default, AIs prefer markdowns because they are smaller and they use less tokens. So it's a good task to transform HTML to markdown. Now that we have transformed it, we can proceed with the AI agent and transform it to whatever we want. Let me find it. Okay. So we will define it below. We will use an expression, and it will be something like the title and then the parsed data. Okay, so let's do it this way. So the AI is more comfortable. And now we set a message. You are a helpful assistant. Make a resume of the following task. Do not add your personal comments. Why? Because usually AIs may add some extra information and we want to avoid that. Also, we need to add the chat model because it's required. In this case, we use the Oyama. And here, as we have loaded these large language models directly in our system, we have access to them. So we can click, and if we want, we can decrease the sampling temperature. That's useful if we want to avoid hallucinations of the model. Now that we have it, we can check the output. It will take a few seconds. And while it is doing it, we can proceed with some other things to do on it. It's now the next step will be to transform from Markdown to HTML because you know Odoo prefers HTML. And last but not least, let's make the HTTP request where we post on the response URL that has already been defined by Odoo. And we send the body, and we just need to set the body and the data here. So there's only one thing to fix, as you can see. It didn't like a lot. So we will do something to make a better prompt. Make a small resume of the task. Do not add your comments. And now it should make it smaller. It will take a few seconds. Okay. Usually this is the worst part of it, that where you need to transform everything. So now it's cleaner. So it's just made a small resume with this system message. It's part of the prompt engineering. So now that we have it, we can save, and we can go back to the Odoo, and now we can execute it again. Make a resume. If we go back here, we can see that it's running. It will take a few seconds, like 4 seconds. And after that, it has automatically added a message here. This could be used for other things, not only this kind of jobs. So I hope it was helpful to all of you, and we will set other examples in the future where we will talk about how to make a ChatGPT directly inside Odoo or something like that. But I hope this is a good example to start.